For those that don't know, this video that you're watching on your screen right now hides a very disturbing secret. In this video, you guys can see a very sizable whirlpool and a man wearing a horse mask jumping into the whirlpool and swimming around. This, however, would end up being the last mistake that the man in the horse mask would ever make. Let me introduce you guys to Jacob Cockle, a 28-year-old daredevil who took too many risks, and one day one of these risks did not pan out. Jacob had a massive love for the sea, he loved to surf, and specifically he loved to surf on Whirlpool Beach. However, as time progressed, Jacob went to take more and more risks to surf in more and more dangerous places. This tragic story perhaps starts with Grace, Jacob's sister. In the year of 2001, Grace ended up getting diagnosed with a brain tumor. This made things very hard on Jacob as he had always been extremely close with his sister. Jacob, at the age of 17, was having a very hard time coping with his sister's passing. So he ended up believing that his sister was living through him, and this made him take even more risks. As the years went by, in his early 20s, he won awards for National Geographic and Sunday Times for the photos that he would take when surfing. With all of these risks that Jacob was taking, it seemed like nothing would be able to stop him in his tracks. That is until he met the Whirlpool that appeared in Hayle Harbor. The Whirlpool would appear only a few times per year in Hayle Harbor, and this was because of engineering. What the engineers wanted to do was prevent the harbor from being silted up. So what they did is they created a pool up at the top of Hayle Harbor to hold the water, and once the tide retreated back into the ocean, they would release this water and it would wash away any of the sediment left over. A few times a year, the tide would come back in faster than the water was able to be released back into the ocean, and this is what would create the whirlpool that would inevitably end up taking Jacob's life. The first time that Jacob saw this whirlpool, he decided that he wanted to swim in it, and he recorded this successfully, posting it to YouTube, racking up millions of views and making quite a bit of money. May 28th of 2013 was the fateful day that the whirlpool would return. Jacob would jump in to film, but he would not return. Jacob spent around 30 minutes filming the whirlpool with one of his friends, wearing a horse mask as well as a neoprene suit. For the first 30 minutes, everything was completely fine, but there was one fatal mistake that would end up taking Jacob's life. Jacob was just about done filming, but he wanted to get one more shot. For this last shot, what he wanted to do was take a GoPro attached to a stick, swim under the water next to the whirlpool, and capture it in all of its glory. Jacob dove down for the final time. His friend David watched, but Jacob never resurfaced. This is the point that David began to worry and started calling for his friend's name. Jacob's friend ran to the other side of the harbor, asking a fisherman if he had seen anybody come through from the top of the harbor, to which the fisherman replied that he hadn't. It had been far too long, and by this point Jacob finally had resurfaced, but he was face down, and David knew that it was far too late. What Jacob failed to take into account is that though your neoprene suit is buoyant on the surface of the water, enough so to fight against the forces of this whirlpool trying to pull you down, the moment that you dive below the water, the buoyancy of the suit decreases, meaning the whirlpool became strong enough to suck him down and not allow him to escape. Jacob's passing had a huge impact on his family as well as the community that he called his friends. In fact, so many people went to Jacob's funeral that the church wasn't able to fit everyone that wanted to attend inside. Jacob led a life full of excitement and risk, but there's one lesson to be learned here. Never bite off more than you can chew, and always assess the danger of a situation and make sure you understand what you shouldn't do so that you can survive. That's it for this video on Morbid Archives. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like, drop a comment down below letting me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video.